This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Come on, it's First Alert Weather Breakdown time. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason. Thank you for joining us here on this Thursday at 10:30 in the morning. We made it to the second half of the work week. We're just not quite to Friday yet. Hey, that's tomorrow at least. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason. Again, thank you for joining us here on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. We've got a lot to get to, so not too much introducing needed to be done. Let's get straight to it here for the day today, especially because we have a lengthy Met Chat coming up. Hey, for those of you just joining us for the first time, don't feel left out. Met Chat is essentially when all four meteorologists, as part of the KSLA News 12 First Alert Weather Team, collectively are on this First Alert Weather Breakdown. Hey, you don't hear from Austin and Chief Meteorologist Matt Jones much on this podcast, but you will hear from them today on this Met Chat today. Or I should say yesterday. It is a recording. We discussed this yesterday live. It will be a recording here for the day today. But again, this is the first time we're showing this. That's the point. We discussed national flash flooding issues across multiple parts of the country. Obviously, that's been a big headline with the Texas flooding, but there has been several other areas that have had flash flooding issues. And this just feels like the year of the flash flood. It's just been ongoing nonstop, even in, you could even say, the Arklatex. You remember back in for Texarkana, what happened back in early April? It was a while ago, but that's some dangerous overnight flooding around there. So we discussed that here on this current First Alert Weather Breakdown. That is after a local forecast again, which we're gonna get a little more pace onto our forecast here for the day today on this local forecast, mainly because it's a lengthy Met Chat. Got a lot to get to when it comes to that. Anyways, let's hop on outside. Beautiful look on our downtown Shreveport and Bossier camera there. Same thing for Texarkana. I mean, this has been copy and paste here for the past couple of mornings, and we've had a good sunny trend working with us here throughout the past couple of days, and that does continue into today. Sunny, but incredibly hot. If anything, maybe temperatures even hotter than that of yesterday, but overall they should be about the same as what they were as yesterday afternoon. The big changes in our forecast are going to be in store here for Friday and Saturday. That brings in chances for storms, but this is going to be a very incredibly localized forecast. And what I mean by that is there's some areas that'll get absolutely pounded with rain showers between Friday and Saturday, as in almost nonstop rain. But there are a few other areas of the Arklatex that might not even see a single drop from the system at all. So we're going to talk over who's more likely to get the rain here in just a little bit. For next week, though, we're back to our regularly scheduled summer sunshine and fun, and how fun it will be to bring in those incredibly hot temperatures out once more. So, hey, if you've been one of those people that's been looking forward to kind of that little cool spell and any cooler air that you find during summer, tomorrow and Saturday are going to be your days out and about. Right now, though, that's not today, though. It's 90 in Shreveport already, 91 in Texarkana. It's 10:30 in the morning. 87 in Natchitoches, 84 in Idabel. Feels like temperatures are already out of the wazoo. We've already reached a feels like temperature of 102. Oh, man, for Texarkana right now, 98 in Shreveport. I still got to drive home. Even for that drive home, just getting from the building to the walk to the car, even then I still feel like, and the car itself, you know, because it's not cooled down yet with that AC. It's like, my goodness, man. All right, this is going to give you a little preview of what we're expecting here out of Friday and Saturday again. We have chances for storms between both Friday and Saturday. We have a little threat of flash flooding with this as well. This is pretty much our biggest threat that we're dealing with here for the storms coming on up here. This is mainly going to be found around Natchitoches, the minor risk around Shreveport and Bossier, also around Natchitoches, and most of the I-20 corridor. For Saturday, that slight risk completely falls off, but still a marginal risk of flash flooding for you in store on that day. I actually meant to put those two graphics behind the future track, but that kind of gives you a hint as to who is more likely to get onto the rain, just by a little bit. We'll go over that forecast entirely in just a little bit, but let's turn to the temperatures here for now, because we're hanging around with a hot atmosphere here for the day today. For Friday and Saturday, you get a little bit cooler. And I know the colors in the background don't reflect it. For some reason, this graphic only likes to be active and be correctly working during the shows, and I keep forgetting that this graphic does not want to work during this First Alert Weather Breakdown podcast time. I think because it's updating, and it just, when it's updating, I guess it's just frozen. But the point is, once we get into next work week, Just let the words help you. The hot air returns. Incredibly hot air returns here for next work week. After a little relief, again, between Friday and Saturday, all thanks to the rain, which we'll discuss further in just a bit. But today is not Friday, nor Saturday. So today, for Thursday, another heat advisory is yet again in place because these feels-like temperatures, yes, are getting out of the wazoo once more. It feels like temperatures up between 105 to 110. Then we have a little cool down, as we usually do for the morning hours, before getting a little relief, again, for Friday and Saturday. It's not a massive one, but if you notice for areas in particular, south of I-20, it feels like temperatures a little more reasonable, below 100 degrees. Texarkana, though, might still reach 110 here for tomorrow afternoon. Though, here's our big problem maker of what's bringing our rain here for Friday and Saturday. This system is going to continue to pound lots of storms on top of southern Louisiana. Now, most of this is on top of southeastern Louisiana in particular, down towards New Orleans. This is a little stagnant overall as a system, meaning it's not moving much, but this is going to look to move northward here in just a little while. So again, storms dotting areas, mostly even south of I-10 here for now, but still a lot of rain for the southern coastline of Louisiana that's eventually going to turn northward here in the Arklatex in just a little bit. So for Thursday, if we see anything, it's going to be around Alexandria, Natchitoches type area. And even then, that's a brief shower here for today. Most of the rain coverage, again, starts here tomorrow. And most of that's going to be found in areas in the southern half of the Arklatex. But if you notice, the scattered coverage of all these storms still kind of goes as far north as that Shreveport-Bossier area. So Shreveport-Bossier kind of on the line of which the scattered storms end, but because only Texarkana is only expecting just a spotty storm or two here for tomorrow. Then for Saturday, it starts in the morning. A morning shower is possible in areas around Natchitoches, Nacogdoches for the afternoon. With afternoon gets a little more scattered showers in for everybody. I will say, especially according to that latest future track, I believe most of this storm coverage in for us is going to be coming on Friday compared to Saturday. Saturday, if you just saw that, just maybe 1-2 storms maybe possible. But that still amounts to a good bit. Some areas around the southern half of the Arklatex may be getting an inch still of rain around the Arklatex. If you notice, still the I-20 corridor does get rain from this. That includes Shreveport and Bossier. So it's still, don't be surprised if you see any rain around Shreveport and Bossier here between Friday and Saturday. Once you get north of the I-20 corridor, the rain becomes a lot more scarce, and that's when some areas can really not even see rain at all between Friday and Saturday. But watch out for the downs here between Friday and Saturday. I know the Red River Balloon Rally is unfortunately on the only 2 days is expected to rain out of the next 7. That's so unfortunate. I will say Saturday looking a lot better than Friday, but Friday still holds chances for storms in and of itself as well. So watch out because the grounds are looking to be soaked. And just stay glued to that radar, which is on our site. So to emphasize this one more time, Texarkana, just maybe a brief shower, but overall it's almost regularly scheduled program of sunshine and blue skies for Texarkana continuing. Meanwhile, all those storms are going to be around Natchitoches. It's going to be continuing to pummel through a good portion of the afternoon and through most of Saturday and for you down there as well. Meanwhile, Shreveport, just some spotty off and on storms throughout the next couple of afternoons. Again, that does include Saturday as well. That was your forecast there for Friday. Sunday, couple storms, maybe a spotty storm lingering, but overall we should be dry here throughout Sunday. 7-day forecast, nice and dry, except Friday and Saturday again. Just the 2 days of rain we're dealing with. As for the highs, 99 today, down to 89 for Saturday before we go back up to a hundo back again for Wednesday of next week. All right, we're going to quickly toss it to a break. This is going to be a quick break. Then we're going to come back. We're going to be on the Met Chat, and then I'm going to say goodbye afterward. Long, lengthy Met Chat coming up, which includes all 4 KSLA News 12 meteorologists, including myself, CJ, Austin, and Matt. All 4 of us will be back right after this.
Hello and welcome to the first little weather breakdown at Chat. It's been a little while, but hey, we always make our memories last and memories memorable here with all four of us. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason here, joined by Austin Evans, DJ Cartledge, and Chief Matt Jones. I feel like, again, I barely see y'all as well in person, especially Matt, because we work two opposite schedules, and so it's great to see you. I see how you're doing, especially recently. The Arctic has been hot, it's been humid, and now we're introducing. We're slowly getting out of our daily storm chances with the, I guess, little slight. What's the word I'm looking for? Slight deviation to that this weekend, so to speak. Obviously, we don't have to go into the legit forecast, but we've gotten our handful of storms around the Arctic, but certainly not to where the point of everybody else has gotten. We've had major flash flooding issues all across the United States as a whole, and that's what we mainly wanted to talk about here for the day today. Is you could almost pick a state, name a state, and they almost have had a flash flooding issue. Just to before we dive into any specific examples, because I do want to do that. The Texas flooding, New Mexico, obviously with all the sad with the unfolding the situation there, especially all the lives lost. But besides that, New Mexico, Chicago, New York City, North Carolina. I mean, that's all in a handful. I'm probably forgetting some as well. It's just been an immense amount of flash flood warnings and flash flood emergencies all around the region. Cars getting stuck. What's been going on this spring? It's been wild, and some of this has stemmed around from the tropics as well.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you want me to kick it off? I guess I'll kick it
Sure.
off. Yeah, the amount of flash flooding really has been just crazy. And of course, the big headliner was what happened in the Texas Hill Country with that massive flash flood. And I believe that happened overnight too. It was just a bad combination of everything. Like it happened at like 4 a.m. from what I heard.
Just to add one more thing real quick to that, that's a brilliant point because not only did it happen overnight, it happened overnight into the 4th of July. 4th of July
Right.
morning.
Yeah, so there was a lot of people.
Nobody was ready for it.
And that also means there was like more than usual, a lot more people camping along the lake or along the riverbed. And then, just a horrible situation. I saw some estimates that, over 20 inches of rain fell within like a short window. And I was looking at the meteorology of that. That has to do, obviously, the slow storm motion, but that actually was part of a tropical system that came in, from it actually made landfall in Mexico. We didn't hear a lot about it. I believe it was Chantal. Was that the name of that? Oh, Barry, excuse me. So it was the B storm that went into so went into Mexico and then kind of curved back up. So it was the remnant moisture from that really fueled that significant rainfall event, really.
And by the time the typical remnants of stuff like that usually do move very slowly. They as they dissipate, and unfortunately it dissipated itself all over the Texas Hill Country, moving slowly, which is very typical of this type of situation. And it unfortunately just happened to happen over an insanely flood-prone area. What were they calling it? Flash Flood Alley
I
is the
didn't even know it was
name
a
I
thing.
heard getting thrown around or
Yeah.
something. And I mean, you don't typically hear about local, names about that because it usually doesn't get outside of that area. But obviously, the tragedy and the widespreadedness of this news, we've learned a couple of things about a very localized rural area in Texas.
Yeah.
To really quickly bounce off a bit of a more humorous take on the flash flooding in New York City. I got a friend that lives in New York City, and she either shared a video or posted it herself of just water cascading into the subway right in front of one of the subway doors. And okay, then she probably shared it, but she put a caption on it that said, "I'm gonna Uber home today."
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, yeah, yeah, you are.
Yeah,
And
it's
the
been
New York
wild.
floods, those were recent, right? Like within the past few days or so.
Yeah, the New York City one was a few days ago. Yeah, it's been just wild.
Yeah. I did see that. I believe I checked Twitter this morning that New Jersey was seeing some type of flash flooding event as well. As also on Monday, there were a couple of flash flood warnings going off in like southeastern Pennsylvania. I had
Mm.
actually gotten stuck in on Monday. I also got stuck in Baltimore. No, I got stuck in Pennsylvania at Harrisburg Airport, mainly because of storms rolling through. But there are multiple like flash flood warnings all through southeastern PA, near Philly and New Jersey during that time frame, where like just boatloads of rainfall. I don't know the exact totals that were falling, but these storms pretty much came together and like formed a line and just kept moving through. And some storms actually formed and stayed in one place for hours on end. That's what caused the flash flood warnings. And
I'll
on
do it.
yeah, and on Monday there was a whole line that moved through promoting more flash flood warnings that were going on over there in the Northeast. So definitely, definitely some tragic type of weather going on right now at this time of year.
Yeah, it's been a rough flash floods, and I want to kind of go into this part of it is like, you know, typically this time of year we do see an increase in flash flooding just because, the upper level winds kind of weaken across the country because in the spring and early summer you got still the jet stream which carries things along nice and quickly, and then as you start getting into the mid to late summer, this is kind of a typical thing every year. Mid to late summer, the upper level flow kind of slows down. You typically just don't have a lot of steering mechanisms to move these storms along, so they kind of just form, and a lot of times they just kind of sit there and they rain themselves out. So that's kind of a thing that does. I mean, it's not unusual to see flash flooding, especially as you get deeper into summer. It's typically a thing, but just the frequency of the flash flooding we've had has been very unusual. But
Flash flooding frequency on top of the fact that it's been a wet year so far. And
hmm
I've discussed this on air a couple of times where it's actually helped us out in terms of avoiding typical summer drought, or at least widespread drought. There's like one little area in the article text right now under 1 out of 5 drought, but it's helped us avoid that this summer. But on top of that, the ground is very saturated for it has been since what, April. Um, hasn't really had a chance to dry out significantly, so it doesn't have the capability of taking in this inundation of water
hmm
that likes to fall on these during these pop-up storm events. And this isn't just us. I listened to a podcast based out of Louisville, and one of the hosts was going on about how it's been so hot there, and they've been dealing with severe weather too all this year. It's not isolated as we've been discussing, and it hasn't been. Unfortunately, it's been quite harmful.
yeah,
All the flash flooding.
yeah,
Especially the Kentucky landscape. I feel like we talked about the historic flash flooding there back in spring a few months ago, which they're still recovering from. I believe that was a part of the same system that gave Texarkana its overnight scare back
yeah,
in it was early April. Just
yeah.
wild and ridiculous. I just wanted to go to a statistic real quick as well. I believe I heard this somewhere. Don't quote me on this exactly, but I believe somewhere in the ballpark of 1,500 flash flood warnings on average are issued up until this day. This year alone, we've had about triple that. It's been around 4,500. Ridiculous. It's almost off the
Mhm.
charts. How I guess unprecedented of wet of a year it has been just overall all around the region. So it's been
Yeah.
everyone's problem. Everybody's got their own problems. Everybody's got their own doses of wet weather all around, and we might be even seeing that in the next few days, believe it or not.
Yeah. I
Especially for
mean,
southern Louisiana.
yeah, and we're going to kind of dive into this part of it. We were going to talk about a little bit, and it just has to be discussed because it's a thing. And whether people want to believe it or not, global climate change is a major problem, and that's a big part of this because a warmer world and a warmer atmosphere basically can hold more water vapor, right? So the more that the global temperature is warm, the clouds, the atmosphere can just hold a lot more moisture, and so when storms develop with that high precipitable water, basically what that means is as our climate continues to warm, storms are going to have more intense rainfall rates, and we're starting to see that. And I think this unfortunately is going to become like more of a regular thing, honestly.
So, and we've always been saying with climate change getting worse. And again, if you want to come at me, come at me. I don't care. Climate
This is a
change is
safe space.
getting worse. Climate change is real, and we've always talked about how storms are going to get worse, and they are. And not only that, Tornado Alley ain't a thing anymore. Tornadoes just happen, and they happen across our entire country. They happen across the world, but especially in the United States. We're perfectly set up for that type of thing, and unfortunately, we're also perfectly set up for a ton of flash flooding. There's a lot of we have to a detriment in a lot of ways. We've urbanized a lot of the country, a lot of the land, and we've
Mm,
replaced land that would soak up water with concrete,
mm,
and concrete doesn't soak up water. So we've uh in when we were industrializing, we've ruined a lot of the natural drainage systems that the country had, that the land had. um so combine that with the fact that it's raining more than ever, or at least more than ever in bursts, which lead to
mhm,
flash flooding. Um, and on top of the fact that storms are getting stronger, tornadoes are getting more frequent, and they're also getting stronger, and unfortunately starting to happen at night a lot more. Um, it's going to continue to be a problem for pretty much the entire country. Where there was there were some tornado warnings recently in a state that usually don't get that type of thing. I can't remember which one, but was it Montana? Uh, earlier this year, like northern North Dakota or something. I gotta go back and fact check that. That's on me. But there are things happening that usually don't, and climate change is why.
Yeah,
yeah.
I've definitely seen a couple of South Dakota and North Dakota tornado warnings with some systems running up there too. But it hasn't been many, but it's still unusual that it happens, and it's mainly because of climate change. The atmosphere is always changing, and with the global temperatures getting higher, as Austin had mentioned, that means higher moisture content in the atmosphere, worse. I can't find the word for it. More intense type of storms that may happen, and just the higher temperatures and more intense storms.
Yeah, it's wild. The first thing that comes to mind for me was the heat advisories in Alaska. I think 2 weeks
Oh,
ago.
right,
So
right.
for the first time
Yeah.
that's ever happened. The heat advisory in Alaska. It wasn't even
Did we
just
ever
like the
dive into
southern
their
tip of
criteria
Alaska.
for that?
It's
uh
low, but still, it's like
yeah.
mid
Well,
80s.
I'm sure it's low.
I think the
It's,
forecasted high for
um,
one of those days was up to 90 degrees, which
so
again, Alaska.
interesting story. I took a trip up to Banff, which is up in Alberta, Canada, and they have some really pretty glaciers up there. But we were up there, and one of the guides that was one of the tour guides or whatever, was like, "You guys might be one of the last people to really see this glacier because this glacier up there is melting so fast. Like it'll be gone in a couple. It'll be gone soon. I mean, that's what's
That's
happening.
surreal.
You know?
Wow.
Yep.
And and I got a buddy of mine lives in Washington, and he was talking to him yesterday. He was complaining about there's not a whole lot of air circulation in his apartment. A lot of people, there's a lot of people, and I've just localized. A lot of people north of I-30 don't have air conditioning. It's not a thing. It's not a culturally common thing to have air conditioning in Oregon or Washington, Alaska. You don't need it
Hmm.
typically. But the thing is, when it does get hot, and it does get hot in Oregon and Washington, it does get hot in Idaho. um, when it does, even more people are typically put in danger. It gets really hot here, but a lot of us have air conditioning. Not all, not speaking for all, but a lot of us have air conditioning, access to something. A lot of people, a lot of places, even communal places, in the northern zones of the country don't have air conditioning, or if they do, it doesn't work that well. When I was living in New York, Matt, you could probably attest to this. I don't know what your apartment situation was, but I had an apartment that only had like the box air conditioning in the
Hmm.
front of it.
Yeah.
And if that AC reached the bedroom, which was on the opposite end of the apartment, you'd be lucky because the temperature difference would be staggering
Yeah.
between the two.
Yeah.
So having access to central AC is a major concern. And if you don't have it, you get hot, and a lot of people don't have access to that type of thing. And when it gets hot in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, that's when a lot of people, you start to hear people unfortunately dying because they're not prepared for the heat that I guess we're all used to, except me.
Hmm.
So kind of this all together as well. Actually, I will say it hasn't been as much of a for the United States. I think as a whole, it hasn't been as hot of a year or
No, it hasn't.
like in normality. And I think most of that has to do with the rain around. Rain and
Yeah.
clouds
Probably.
around most of these coasts. I mean, there's not much to keep the pile on if that sun's not there. Especially each and every afternoon with those we've talked about in the Architects almost for the past 2 weeks up until this week. Daily afternoon thunderstorm chances just popping up essentially each and every day. So again, we have a flash flood risk, not necessarily here in the Architects, but for southern Louisiana with a little cluster in the Gulf currently that might give several inches to a few localized areas south of here, south of the Architects. So just wild, just wild. Anybody got anything else before we move on to our question?
Well, this might be one of those years where we don't see the triple digits. Might. It's a big might.
Yeah,
We still got plenty of
I
summer to
don't
get
think
through.
so.
There's today.
I was
and
looking
We
at
got
the long
but
range.
usually, but all the years that I've been here, we have hit
I
the
agree.
triple digits by this
Oh, yeah.
time.
It's very unusual.
So
Yeah.
it's again, it's a big might, but you could take that and correlate it to the amount of rain that we've had. And
Yeah.
correlation is not causation, but you know that that they kind of go together. And to be honest, we're probably going to hit the triple digits tomorrow, at least somewhere.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
And
I think our forecast high is 99. So
yeah, I just don't want to put. I didn't want
again,
to put
it might not
100 on
be.
there.
It
I
might
just
not be
couldn't put 100.
2011. It ain't going to be 2011 where we had like 63 of them, uh, but it might, but it also might not be 2021 where we had none. Was that 2021?
I think it was 2020
I
or
think it
2020.
was. Yeah, one or the other. In 2021, if 2020 had 0, 2021 had like 3. So
Mhm.
it wasn't very prolific either. So
Mhm.
it's just hot. It's not fun.
Just gotta say the same old message, guys. Stay cool. Stay cool.
Yes.
Mhm.
Anyways, let's get to our trivia question here for the day today. But anyways, this is just wild flash flooding all around. But speaking of kind of tropical clusters, one of the focuses of this past week has been around the potential. I want to stress the word potential formation of a tropical system. What could be Dexter? Now, I don't think it's gonna happen honestly with this system. We'll see.
I don't think it's very likely.
I don't think it's very likely, but it got me thinking a little bit because Dexter would, if this storm were to form, it'd be Dexter, which will be the fourth named storm of the year. So my question to you is, when does on average, I should say, when on average, does the fourth storm of the Atlantic tropical season usually hit?
Give a date.
Yes.
A specific date?
Date is your answer. I'll repeat it one more time. When on average does the fourth tropical system in the Atlantic Ocean typically form?
Mm.
Just think about when. You got to think about when peak is.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
say. Do you want me to go first?
Sure, go ahead.
I'm gonna just throw out some random date. I'm just gonna say. Oh gosh, I'm gonna say like August 8th. I have no idea. August 8th.
I was thinking like late July, early August too. I'm gonna say August 2nd. Number 2.
I was gonna go in the 15th of August, but that's too close to y'all's. So I'll
Matter.
drop it on my birthday, July 31st.
All right.
First. Should have stuck to your gut there. It's August 15th.
Yeah, it is August 15th.
Oh,
Stupefied's
Oh,
got you
man.
day.
August 15th. Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Stupefied's got you
So
day.
I guess the point goes to show that we're about or ahead of schedule on a typical season. It's what, middle of July? So if Dexter were to form, it'd be almost a month above average. So
It doesn't seem like it's been a very active season, but I guess they haven't.
What happened? It hasn't really. And Colorado
lowered
State or
their-
University of
yeah.
Colorado, they lowered it, which So have they lowered it because the ocean's gotten too hot? Because I think that can happen too.
It was because of
Um,
wind shear. I posted something about it. It's because of increasing wind shear. That's what they're talking about.
I
Yeah.
should have read into it. Shame on me. But yeah, and oddly enough, our biggest hurricane uh, research place is in Colorado, of all places.
I know.
Got
Yep.
some good meteorology schools over in Colorado, and apparently
Mhm.
we pulled our chief meteorologist out of Colorado as well. So
Yep.
Yeah,
I went to
yeah,
one.
yanked him out of there. Nah, you don't get to go back to the dry and cold.
Oh man, I don't miss the dry. I don't miss the extreme dry. That was no.
yikes, that's a rough. I remember when I was lived in dry climates, it was my knuckles. Knuckles always felt it. Dry
It's always
skin,
my
dry things.
fingertips.
Lips, chapped lips all the time.
That too. It's wild. But yeah, point is tropics don't be surprised it's starting out, I guess, quote unquote slow. I mean, June and July are usually quiet months anyways. It's been quiet because of mainly the Saharan dust that's been clogging up the Atlantic, but obviously peak of the season really starts to ramp up next month.
Yeah, but I was about to say peak is like sometime in August or like early September, right? Somewhere around there.
September,
I think
late
so.
October, still has a good amount of storm.
I'm trying to remember the graph that we show every year
Yeah, I
where
think the
it's got
peak's
all
like
the bars.
peak's like September 10th. I think it's like early to mid September is the peak.
Yeah, probably so.
When
Anyways.
things start to slowly cool down a little bit and more forcing gets put into some things, and then you really start spinning.
Mhm.
Hopefully not, but that's typically what happens.
The hurricane season goes as late as I believe the end of November. So
Yeah.
got a long way to go.
Yeah, we do.
Long way to go. We will see what happens. We'll keep you first alert here. Anyways, thanks for joining us. We will hasta la vista, and thanks for joining us here today, all three of y'all. Appreciate it. Until next time, we'll talk to you later. Ciao.
Thanks for watching First Look with a Breakdown. Appreciate it very much. I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson back here at the Weather Center. 2 notes on that Met Chat. Number 1, I tried out a new microphone. I think that was connected to the pair of wireless headphones that I was wearing. I realized now on the recording when I played it back before this episode, I was like, oh, well, I'll just kind of deal with it and probably go back to my old headphones, wired headphones next time. I just wanted to try them out, but the audio through my wireless headphones there kind of just sounded a little more static and a little more quiet than the audio of everybody else in that episode. So sorry about that, but I'll try to fix that for next time. The other thing I want to mention, there was one cool moment in there. There was, if you looked on Austin Evans' webcam there for a moment, I don't remember exactly when this happened. It's definitely in the second half. It was he was recording in the KSLA News 12 studio. Himself, the rest of us are recording from remote areas at home. But so was a producer, someone who worked at KSLA News 12 that came in the background of his photo there. If you have the ability to watch the recording, first of all, you just click on the tab again, the podcast tab, and then you go to the First Look with a Breakdown tab, and then you have all the recordings of all these podcasts in the rundown. In case if you don't make it to the 10:30 recording live, you can just watch it at your own convenience at any time then. But if you want to go back, you can watch somebody go into the background of Austin's recording and then take a step back as if like, I'm not here. Anyways, thank you for watching First Look with a Breakdown. I've extended my stay a little too long. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll be back again for one more episode of First Look with a Breakdown tomorrow to go over your full regional weekend travel forecast, which could look, yes, a little wet, especially because here in the Arctic, again, we're dealing with that tropical system coming up here for Friday and Saturday. So enjoy your last sunny day here for today before we got 2 rainy days coming up between Friday and Saturday. More details on that will be on the First Look with a Breakdown for tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow at 10:30. Be there, be square. Most importantly, be weather aware. See ya. Have a good one.